safety. He was alone in his apartment. He was not posing danger to anyone but himself. And he needed help by people who know how to handle mental issues. Instead, when police arrived, he was handed a death sentence. This is totally unacceptable, and I'm saying it from this minbar like many others, not because he is or he was a Muslim. Any person in his situation should be cared for by people who know how to handle mental disease, not by people who are supposed to serve and protect, yet the color of his skin made it something that allowed that person to feel threatened, and thus 5 bullets were emptied into his body. Just ask anyone, what kind of danger would that person have posed on anyone? Instead, use a teaser, use a chair to corner him and then take the knife out of his hand. Instead, now he is no more. 4 children are saying, the youngest one is saying, when is dad coming back home from hospital? And God is my witness, not because he's a Muslim, but because this has gone way too far. And we've got to do something about it. And today's khutbah may sound, in the short time that we have, like a newscast. There are a few things I want to mention in such a short period of time. And what happened to Ijaz Chaudhry leads me to some kind of pride in a budding group in our city, in our Muslim community called Hikmah, led by a group of young professionals, lawyers, doctors, accountants, a group of young people who are not dealing with issues emotionally. They are doing something as per وَقُلِ اعْمَلُوا فَسَيَرَ اللَّهُ عَمَلَكُمْ وَرَسُولُهُ وَالْمُؤْمِنُونَ. Do something, for your actions will be recognized by Allah and His Messenger and all the believers. We are recognizing what they are doing. They advanced. Right now, the head of that group, the young lawyer, Nawaz Tahir, is now on Rogers to share that statement with the public. We are going to do everything about it, and it is summarized under 4 headings. Alhamdulillah, very well organized. Number 1, unity. All Muslim organizations in London should have one voice. We cannot now speak as London Muslim Mosque or Islamic Center or North London Islamic Association or Hayat Masjid or At-Taqwa Academy. No. We speak with one voice, and that's what they are starting with. Unity, number 1. Number 2, education. We've got to educate ourselves about the pandemic of racism, because as I mentioned 2 weeks ago, racism exists within our community the same as it exists from outside inside. Within our community, let's face it, let's call it as it is, that we still did not feel as one ummah under La ilaha illallah Muhammadun Rasulullah, as Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam taught us when he entered Mecca on the 21st of Ramadan, on the day of the liberation of Mecca. He was holding the hand of Bilal on the right and Suhaib al-Rumi on the left. We've got to do the same thing. Education. Number 3, engagement. We've got to engage all our resources together to do the right thing about racism. And finally, they establish some metrics, things where data will be collected, where surveys will be made, where we will follow the progress so that we will, as Muslims, because let's face it, alhamdulillah, we are proud that our faith tradition is the one that will lead the way, because this is what Islam is all about. Islam came to abolish racism, yet it still continues to exist, so we've got to do something about it. So this is the second item, and we are very proud of hikmah. Now, number 3. Some of you may already know that in a few days, 2 people, one from the occupying force of Palestine and someone who is defying the entire global community, are going to declare Palestine as history. They are planning to annex what is left of the West Bank. They want to take Palestine away. And they are not going to stop there. Because the breakdown of the infrastructure of the neighbors of Palestine is basically an ongoing plan to take over what is left and put their hand on the resources of Iraq and Syria and Jordan and Egypt and the entire place. This is happening in a few days. So I call upon all of you. There is a petition circulated. Go to avaz.org. Avaz.org. And this petition is for the European Union leaders, because they are the only force that can say, stop it. And we've got to do our share. Don't just now go home and as if nothing said. Palestine, in the conscience of the global community, is saying, I am bleeding. Are you going to put your finger and put some pressure on the wound and stop the bleeding? Or are you going to say, what can I do? We can do a lot. وَقُلِ عَمَلُوا فَسَيَرَى اللَّهُ عَمَلَكُمْ وَرَسُولُهُ وَالْمُؤْمِنُونَ. And as the hikmah statement right at the top reminded us of the hadith in Sahih Muslim through the authority of Abu Sa'id al-Khudri, whereby Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, how many times have we heard this hadith? We heard it a lot. مَنْ رَأَى مِنْكُمْ مُنْكَرًا فَلْيُغَيِّرْهُ بِيَدِهِ. Whosoever will encounter something bad, let him or her do something personally about it. If he or she cannot, then they should talk to people who have the ability. If they cannot, then they should have it in their heart to feel bad about it. وَذَلِكَ أَضْعَفُ الْإِيمَانِ. And that is the weakest manifestation of our faith. We've got to do something. And number 4, have you heard? Let us now talk to our conscience. 24 million people in Yemen have no food. I didn't say 24,000. I didn't say 2,400. I said 24 million people in Yemen can barely survive, and actually they are dying on an hourly basis. 24 million. 20 million of them have no sanitization, no sanitary outlets, no water to drink. 20 million people. 18 million forget about aspirin. Tylenol, what's Tylenol? Dialysis, that's a luxury. Diabetes, so what? 18 million have no health care. 4 million are refugees within Yemen. They are displaced. What happened to our conscience? We are required, as per the hadith of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, al-Muslimu lil-Muslimi kal-bunyan al-marsus. We Muslims form one whole body that is like this. We should worry about the entire Muslim body wherever they are. What shall we do? Tonight at 8 o'clock Eastern Standard Time, Islamic Relief Canada is holding fundraising. Join, tell people about it, help. Write a message on WhatsApp. Go to the sites that tell you what is happening in Yemen. At least write a message or forward a message from one of those sites and send it to the people on your list. Let that be shared viral, as they say. But let the people know. You never know what will happen. أقول قولي هذا وأستغفر الله العظيم لي ولكم فيا فوز المستغفرين. Make dua to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. He will accept our dua. Ameen ya Rabbal Alamin. Alhamdulillah wa ashhadu an la ilaha illallah wa salatu wa salamu ala rasulillah wa ala alihi wa sahbihi wa man walah. Rabbi shrah li sadri wa yassir li amri wa hlul 'uqdatan min lisani yafqahu qawli. My dear brothers and sisters, one thing I want to say, or two. One thing is the pandemic is not over. 4 masajid in Texas closed after 2 weeks of reopening because people became lax. Please, I'm not only talking about our masjid here, I'm talking about, for extended families to just basically take it easy. And there is a nail salon in Kingston now opened 2 weeks ago because of the relaxation of the lockdown in Ontario. Now they have 29 cases of infection in Kingston. 500 people visited the salon in the last 2 weeks. Now all of them are under quarantine. Please be careful. Stay safe. We do not want our masajid to close. We just want them to expand under safety regulations. Be very careful. And number 2, please, we are working on many programs. I've been spending time planning, videotaping, sending those messages on the newsletter that everybody should receive so that your children, your youth will stay connected, because you know what will happen? Now psychologists are talking seriously about how the mental makeup of our youth, our children is changing. Yesterday I was meeting here with a young person who is questioning the kindness of God. Because if we do not engage them, at least virtually, then they will just go with the flow. We cannot afford that. Please check the newsletter and join the programs. We are starting on Tuesday with a children's program. I want to play with the children virtually. I want to sing with them. I want to tell them stories. But please check the newsletters, share it widely. Let us stay connected, at least virtually, until Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala wills. اللهم صل على محمد وعلى آل محمد كما صليت على إبراهيم وعلى آل إبراهيم وبارك على محمد وعلى آل محمد كما باركت على إبراهيم وعلى آل إبراهيم في العالمين إنك حميد مجيد. اللهم اغفر لنا ذنوبنا وخطايانا وإسرافنا في أمرنا وكفر عنا سيئاتنا. اللهم أرنا الحق حقا وارزقنا اتباعه وأرنا الباطل باطلا وارزقنا اجتنابه. اللهم علمنا من ديننا ما جهلنا وذكرنا منه ما نسينا وكن معنا ولا تكن علينا. عباد الله، إن الله يأمر بالعدل والإحسان وإيتاء ذي القربى وينهى عن الفحشاء والمنكر والبغي يعظكم لعلكم تذكرون. اذكروا الله العظيم يذكركم وادعوه يستجب لكم ولذكر الله أكبر والله يعلم ما تصنعون. وأقم الصلاة.
الله أكبر الله أكبر. أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله. أشهد أن محمدا رسول الله.